I really didn't think I'd make this much this quickly. Kind of same thing as John. I was around like 80,000 in debt at 20 years old, which might sound insane, but it definitely surpassed my expectations and really opened my eyes to what's possible. I was doing about 10K a month, like the first month, without showing my face at all. But once I actually started doing it, building more trust with my audience, now we're, clearing more than 30K a month consistently. It's been great.
What was the second month's number? I think it was like 44,000, 46.
44,000 cash collected,
And then last month you said you did 30K?
32 at the end.
All right, welcome to this video, guys. This is my student Hunter, and today we want to essentially kind of go over Hunter's success story here, building a credit repair and funding business. I do want to kind of preface something. Hunter was one of my old Amazon students back in 2023, I think. So I've known him for a while. He essentially was skeptical about this business, but I'll let him kind of explain all that to you. He had been asking me about this business model because he watched me transition from Amazon and Walmart over to this business, saw that I was killing it, asked me questions about this business for like 5 months, and he finally joined with me about August. So, I want to start off by asking you the first question. So you've been with me since August 2025, so we can say you've had 3 full months now at this point. How much have you made so far in these last 3 months?
Around 70,000.
Okay, cool. And for those watching, you guys know that this is a very high margin business. I'm sure Hunter's not gonna disclose his exact net profits, but you can just, let your imagination take a guess here with the numbers that you've heard me talk about. Um, so yeah, I'll let you kind of start. What were your like skepticisms like about this business model? Because you were asking me questions for like 5 months.
Yeah, so transitioning over to Amazon, it's like a completely different business, right? It's not, you're not, kind of tying yourself to a platform. I wasn't really sure about how marketing was going to go and, client fulfillment and basically just driving traffic. Because if you guys don't know how Amazon works, basically you don't have to drive any traffic. You basically are just hopping on listings that are already popular and just selling it, right? So you don't have to worry about driving traffic. You don't have to worry about customer service. So it was just like a completely different kind of business model. So jumping into that was like a little scary. Obviously I had confidence in you like as a mentor, but as the industry, as a whole, especially because I'm young, I'm only 20 years old. And what I've noticed so far, it's like there's not a lot of trust, with younger guys. So that was like some of my biggest concerns.
Yeah. I would say it's a different age though. Yes, there's less trust, but at the same time, there's a lot of young players like absolutely killing it in their respective field. So I always try to tell my clients or whoever's like interested that age is really just a number and you need to, have confidence that you can get the job done, right? Okay, another thing, um, I know you were kind of asking me a lot of questions before in terms of like, oh, what's possible? Do you need a big following? Tell us about your following. Has that mattered, etc. Let's kind of go from there.
Yeah, so when I started, I had around, I mean, I still have 2,000 followers on Instagram, like barely any social media presence whatsoever. So that, once again, that was a really big concern just because I didn't realize you can really run this business purely off paid traffic. But what I will say is having an organic presence will always help at the end of the day, but it's not really necessary.
Yeah. And to give you guys some perspective here, like Hunter doesn't really post on Instagram at all. But I will
Not at
say
all.
he did figure out Twitter. So, he's been killing it on Twitter. He has a pretty big following there. He has a really good ability to go viral. I would say you're really good at like rage bait
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of content that goes extremely viral and gets views, and then you convert those views into traffic. What would you say has been the most interesting part about like building out this business model? Has it like surpassed your expectations of what was possible?
Yeah, great question. And I'll be like completely honest here. I going into it, I wasn't too confident just because I really didn't know what to expect, right? So I really didn't think I'd make this much this quickly. But at the end of the day, like when your back's against the wall, right? I don't know if anybody knows about, my like, what I was going through. Kind of same thing as John. I was Around like 80,000 in debt, at 20 years old, which might sound insane, but for anybody who sells on Amazon knows how easy it is to kind of go under, because of all the leakage and just of all the, inventory based things that happen inside that business. So it was really eye-opening to see like how fast and I wouldn't say it was necessarily easy to scale this quickly. It, definitely takes 10-hour, 12-hour days to, do it as fast as I did. But realistically, man, like you can really get it done working, 4 or 5 hours a day max, but, at the end of the day, that's just me as a person. I like to go all in. I'm really a killer when it comes down, to actually doing the work. But it definitely surpassed my expectations and really opened my eyes to what's possible, even though um, my initial concerns.
Yeah. And I had been telling you that you would do very well because you're very like a big action taker. You just figure stuff out and you'll spend countless hours just like figuring out how to get something done. I'm very much the same way. It's kind of ironic how our positions have been the same because I myself was in about $75,000 of debt in about February this year. I would say January to February, I was still figuring out all the stuff because I pretty much had like a 50K mistake with Amazon. And then I paid $25,000 to get that product removed, so $75,000 in debt. And I paid it off, I think, by April. So in about a couple months, which is pretty much lining up with your situation as well, paying off that debt. I remember you were like very concerned, like, dude, this is kind of expensive.
Mhm.
In a tremendous amount of debt right now, but I think for anybody who's watching, those positions where you have no option but to figure something out can put you in a very good place if you can handle the pressure, right? It's like there's no going to sleep right now because I need to figure this out before I go to bed. Like I can't even sleep right now because the amount of debt is just driving me nuts
Mhm.
and giving me
Yeah, no,
anxiety.
100%, dude.
But I was in the same position. I just like really needed some sort of way to get out of it, and my way of doing that was, building out the business funding company. Is there anything that you would like to share so far that, I haven't talked about or I haven't asked you?
Um, yeah, so it's kind of the same thing. It goes back like into the concerns. Most people who are trying to transition yeah, into a new business model, or maybe you're just starting like a business from scratch and they're looking into business funding and credit repair, as a company. It does look like there's a lot of competition and, full transparency, like there is. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to, who's doing the most work, who's doing the best marketing, the most outreach, and really just going the hardest. Like, you guys got to realize, like, yes, there are like hundreds of funding companies, but at the end of the day, the competition isn't that high of a level. It's really possible, even if you have no experience in the industry. And that's kind of where I was, right? I didn't really know anything about funding. I didn't know anything about credit repair. Obviously, John helped tremendously when it came down to fulfillment and marketing and basically everything from A to Z when it comes to like starting and scaling the business. But at the end of the day, like you're the only person who's going to be able to get it done, right? He can give you all the information you need, but if you're not willing to put in the work, then it might not be for you. So.
Yeah, I agree. But there's kind of a huge shift right now. A lot of people are kind of getting scared with the Amazon business. It's just so much risk involved, and this business is fully independent of any like third-party platform that can just kick you off at any random time. So that's why I personally love the business model. Does it require a little more work? Yes, right? You do need to show your face. But the one thing I do like is you don't necessarily have to be like this TikToker or, make like endless reels. I know you don't make any reels. I don't make any reels. We do paid traffic. You also run the Twitter well, not campaigns, but your copywriting where you're just posting tweets and generating all this crazy traffic and they have no idea what you look like. So that's been really cool for my position to see like you're taking what I gave you and then putting your own spin on it. I don't think anybody in the funding game is doing what you're doing right now, going on Twitter. Like everyone right now I know it's running Instagram for the most part.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And like just to kind of add on to that, that's kind of where I saw like the gap in the market. I knew this one guy named Leo who he's not big on Twitter, maybe 3, 4,000 followers, which isn't, it might sound like a lot, but it's really not. And I've grown from I started at 1.1 thousand on Twitter, and now we're sitting at about 16.2K. And I had a tweet the other day that did, 5 million views, which was insane. probably brought in around ten to $15,000 over the span of 3 days so far. So it's insane. But what I will say is there's no point in reinventing the wheel. But it's great if you can add your own twists on it, right? Like how I brought it to Twitter, or maybe you try out Google, or there's so many traffic sources that you can really tap into this niche that aren't as saturated as, for example, like Instagram might be probably the most saturated in my opinion. But if you learn how you can kind of scale horizontally instead of vertically, just kind of sticking to one platform, you're gonna kill it. Like, yes, it does take a lot of work, but when you're really kind of, just getting yourself out there, getting your face out there, getting your name out there, whether that be with paid media, organic, whatever it may be, it's gonna work. It just really takes a lot of action and testing, but at the end of the day, like you can figure it out.
Yeah. And what would you say you like most about this business model so far?
Yeah, great question. My favorite part is being able to kind of run the whole operation. So, and what I mean by that is with Amazon, there's only so many things you can do, like repricing and selling products that are already a thing. But with this model, there's so many things you can test, right? There's many different offers you can kind of build the main offer into, right? You can kind of start with low ticket, funnel into high ticket. You can, there's so many ways to advertise it and kind of change it up to be unique and position yourself differently from others. It's a whole different game. Like, learning all the automations and just building the back end and the front end. It's been a crazy learning experience is, what I'll say. I've learned so much in the last few months and I like helping people and, with doing credit repair and funding, you're helping people in need. So it's really just a good feeling at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's like Amazon reselling is kind of like it's a good cash flowing business, or it was. Now it's full of risk, and there's really no like fulfilling thing about that business other than generating credit card points and making money without showing your face, which are
Mhm.
huge pros, but too much risk involved, right? With credit repair, you're helping fix their credit, get them approved for their dream house, car, loan, etc. With business funding, you're helping them escape the rat race by getting them capital to leave that 9 to 5 because when they have the capital, they can start the business, scale the business to then quit their job. So I agree with you. Like the service side, the service aspect of this business is really something that I personally enjoy. I feel good about, and I'm excited to, scale it because at the end of the day, we've kind of talked about this. Like the sharks in this business are doing 300, 500, $1 million a month.
Mhm.
They're very small fish at, 25 to $75,000. Like there's still so much room, and we're doing essentially like net profits of people that are probably doing like $300,000 a month on Amazon, risking $150,000 to make the same amount of money we are.
Yeah, literally.
So that's been pretty cool. It's a high margin business, very low barrier to entry. Right, you can run it fully online. The only real problem I would say is that you do need to show your face a little more than you would on Amazon, which is like completely faceless.
Mhm.
But other than that, you can build this business like I've been showing you how to run like faceless AI ads. You don't need to like spam your face all over. Although I have seen you run that ad with your face on there.
Mhm.
I think that's if you're comfortable with it, it adds more trust off the
Exactly. Yeah.
bat. You're showing your face, but even then, we've been able to, like me personally, I don't even run face ads. It's all faceless AI ChatGPT ads that we run.
And just to kind of add on to that, like, great point. There are things you can do. Like, let's say maybe, for example, you don't want to show your face at all. You can always bring someone on and, yes, that might decrease your margin by, 50-50, whatever your split might be, but you can always bring someone on. Like, for example, I was kind of thinking about this in the beginning, but bringing someone on a little bit older, maybe they've been in the industry before, and always have them be the face, right? While you focus on the marketing, the back end, whatever it may be, like there's always an option to not show your face. But I've kind of come to the point where it all comes down to, personal brand for me, especially since I'm younger, and just kind of building trust within my audience while showing my face. So I will say like it's, completely not necessary. I was doing about 10K a month like the first month without showing my face at all. But once I actually started doing it, building more trust with my audience, now we're, clearing more than 30K a month consistently, and
Yeah.
it's been great. So
What was the second month number? I think it was like 44,000, 46.
44,000 cash collected,
Yeah, that was crazy. And then last month you said you did 30K?
32 at the end.
Okay, so you've actually done like 85. maybe 87-ish. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's somewhere. I know for a fact we've cash collected over 70, but we're probably sitting at like the, 70, 75
Yeah.
profit.
And then I think yesterday you texted me you did like a 5K day.
Yeah,
That was
first day
pretty
of the month.
dope. Yeah, that was pretty dope to see. I actually did made zero yesterday, but then I did show you today. I did 24K today. So,
Dude, absolutely
you know,
mugged me. Yeah.
and then one thing that I love is that Hunter and I have these friendly competitions about how much we can make, which is a great thing, right? You want healthy competition where like I send him stuff and he doesn't look at it as like, oh, you're bragging. It's like it gets him fired up. He's like, no, I gotta beat you. And then like he'll come back and then, like yesterday, I made $0 yesterday. He'll be like, yo, I just did 5K in one day, which has been pretty cool to kind of have that relationship with you, where it's like we're competing against each other in a very friendly way. Like it's not something where we feel like we need to steal or like we don't have enough opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity for both of us, but we get to just kind of have that like friendly, like, back and forth where it's like, hey, like, you better wake up a little earlier
Yeah.
because I'm out working you or I'm
Yeah,
out hurting
exactly.
you.
Yeah, and just to add a little more on that, like it's been insane, and I'm very competitive when it comes down to it, and that's what I really appreciate you as a mentor. Like full transparency. When we were doing Amazon, it was a little bit different just because like the business model was different, but like just having that kind of competitive, kind of friendly like competition is great, especially as a business owner when you have people in your circle that are doing, way better than you. It really fires you up at the end of the day to, kind of get to their level, right? And that's why I, vouch for your mentorship. I've had bunch of your students come to me and ask me questions and people who were kind of concerned about, joining like your mentorship, for example. And I just tell them, I'm like, dude, like he's a great mentor, right? He, at the end of the day, it's going to be more than just kind of a course, right? He actually works with you directly. He treats you more than just kind of like a client, but a friend as well. Obviously, not like, always keeping it professional, but it's, always friendly competition, and it's more than just a client kind of mentorship thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's funny because you were so skeptical in the beginning. I was
Dude,
like,
I
dude, I got
know.
you to $1 million on Amazon. Like, why are you worried about like me working? But I get it. Everyone has their own reservations. But it was funny because I wasn't some random person to you at that point. Like I had made,
Mhm.
I think what you paid me 2K for Amazon or maybe 2,500. Cleared six figures that first year.
Yeah,
So
literally.
I was like, come on, bro, you've already got the ROI. Like, what else do I have to tell you? Like, you just gotta trust me at this point. But glad you took the shot. I know it was a lot of money. You were definitely, I remember when you sent me the money,
Dude.
dude, I need to
S-
make this work. I do not have a
Yeah.
choice. I could probably still pull that text up. You're like, I literally need to make this back as soon as possible. I
Hmm.
will say you're probably my most like intuitive student. Like you're literally like innovating stuff that I'm not even doing and implementing
Hmm.
it and creating ways for you to like really grow your business in a manner that I'm not, right? Like I just really
Hmm.
gave you the vehicle and then like you're adding all these mods on there to make it yours,
Hmm.
right? So that's been pretty cool to see.
No, I appreciate that. It's definitely been a lot of work that has gone into it, and we're just starting, right? I want to get up to those, close to 1 mil a month, 300K a month, which might sound crazy to a lot of people, but especially in the last few months, my network has increased like exponentially. I'm talking to people running like $1 million a month brands and just kind of networking with people who are just doing way better than me, and that's like the best way that I've kind of leveled up. And it all started with, you, right? Like you showing me this new business model that I was skeptical about. And it just takes jumping into the deep end to figure it out, right? This might not be for everybody, but when you really do put in the work and you have a mentor like John, it's something that's definitely achievable. Even maybe if you're doing like 20 to 30K a month, that's more than, 95% of Americans, right? You can definitely take 80 to 90% margins at 20 to 30K a month. And dude, you're a top 1% American. That's what people don't understand. So,
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Is there anything else? I think that's kind of all I had on my end.
um, nah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like the last thing I can, leave whoever's watching this video, if you're thinking about starting this business, I would definitely do it. Like, what do you have to risk? Think about your current position. Will taking action now change your position in the future? 100%. Let's say you don't take action, nothing's going to change. So
Yeah. And for those that are watching, like how old are you again, Hunter?
I'm only 20. I turn 21 next month though.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Making 30K a month at 20, bro. I was making like, dude, maybe 3K, maybe 2K at that age. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. I appreciate you being on here. Thank you for taking the time.